Hello, 10A. I just wanted to clarify the presentation for you, and I'm going to give you some time in this class to continue working on your PowerPoint presentations. However, before I did so, I just wanted to give you an example of what a PowerPoint presentation could look like for a level 1. First of all, thank you to those of you who have actually sent through your draft. Even though it was unfinished, it's been very useful because I've been able to give individual feedback. If you have not sent me that original draft, it will have a negative impact. I will not be able to give you feedback, and so when you do your assessment and I mark you on both your PowerPoint and your speech, your mark will likely not be as good as it could be. So my suggestion is that you send that through as soon as possible. For those of you that I have provided feedback on, please use this class to look at that feedback and make the necessary changes. You are more than welcome to continue to send me your draft, and I can give you updated feedback and confirm that you've done the correct thing. So just to clarify, you are required to prepare and deliver a 5-minute individual oral presentation. This means that it must be 5 minutes. If you include a video that is 2 minutes long, that means that will be 7 minutes in total. You then need to complete a 3 to 5 minute question and answer session. That is when the audience will ask you questions about your animal. If no one asks you questions, you must have questions prepared to ask your audience about your animal or about it being endangered. Remember that this presentation is not just about your PowerPoint. The presentation of the PowerPoint will be used in your computer assessment. However, the PowerPoint is actually a tool to help you in creating and delivering an excellent presentation. It is a complement to your speech. It is not for you to read off of. It is to engage and make your presentation interesting. You will be completing this later on this week when you do some practice. So we're going to have a group activity where you will practice your presentation in small groups of 3 or 4. I've already organised those groups, so don't worry about that. However, you need to make sure that you complete your PowerPoint presentation and send it to me at the end of this session. This is the student assessment sheet that me as your teacher will be using. Your presentation will be videoed. I will then watch the videos and mark your presentation based on these following areas. Content and research. I can see that you have completed a lot of research and know your animal really well. Research also means that you've completed a reference sheet at the end of your PowerPoint. Organisation, that you've put everything in a logical order. Delivery, that you've been confident in speaking to the class and confident in knowing your information. This means that you have not read off the PowerPoint or that you've read off pieces of paper. It also means that you've used a range of tones when you're speaking and tried to make it interesting to your audience. Language, that you've been able to use correct vocabulary and pronounce everything correctly. You will need to say the scientific name of your animal, so that vocabulary you really need to practice in the mirror before the final assessment. And the question and answer session is how well you can answer the questions of your audience, or if the audience don't have any questions, that you've been able to facilitate a conversation. This information shows what level you could get. I will send this through in your WeChat so that you can analyse it itself. This is a great way to work out what mark you might receive. Obviously, everybody will want to get a 5 is outstanding. So have a look at what you need to do to make sure that you've presented an outstanding presentation. Next, I'm going to show you a short video of an example of someone giving a presentation about animal habitats. Just to give you an idea of what you will need to do when you are practicing at the end of this week. Between now and then, I would suggest that you practice on your own, that you practice in front of a mirror, giving your presentation to make sure that you're confident with it.
Animal habitats. This is written and narrated by Nikki Parkin. What makes up an animal habitat? There's food, water, space.
Just to stop for a second, so as she's talking about the animal habitat, which is made clearly up in the slide, she says food and gives us a picture of food. She says water and gives a picture of water. And then land, I think she said, and gives a picture of that. So rather than just putting all of the images up straight away, she's done it progressively. You'll also notice that she's used images rather than full words or sentences. She's speaking slowly and clearly.
And shelter. Without these 4 things, an animal would not survive. Does a polar bear have the same habitat as a bald eagle? How about the cheetah?
So here you can see that she's used what we call rhetorical questions. These are questions that the audience doesn't need to answer, but it engages the audience. It makes them interested and wonder what the answer is.
Many animals have different habitats. One of the components of a habitat is food. Can you guess what a bald eagle eats? Small animals. This includes fish, snakes, and even rodents.
You notice here, again, she hasn't included the information she's saying. All we see on the PowerPoint are images, and then her content is actually what she's speaking to us. She confidently knows her information and doesn't need to put all of the words up on the PowerPoint presentation. You'll also notice that her tone changes. She says this and that, and also that. So as usual, we have the da, 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 making sure that it's interesting to listen to.
A cheetah often feasts on gazelles or antelopes, and polar bears most oftenly eat seal. Another part of habitat is water. We all need water to survive, and this includes animals. But can an animal turn on a faucet and get a drink? Definitely not. So where do animals find their water? Animals find water from lakes, streams, ponds, plants. They find it anywhere that they can. The third part of habitat is space.
You'll notice here that she used a signposting phrase. She said the third part. That's something I'm going to be looking at as well. The same as when you were writing your description, we use then, next, in the meantime. So some good signposting phrases.
Animals need room to spread out and hunt. They need to be able to run or do any other thing necessary to living. Does this animal, this large elephant, need the same amount of space as a small mouse? The final component that makes up a habitat is shelter. Humans live in homes, apartments, condos, and trailers. We all live in different places. So if we all live in different types of shelter, do you think that animals live in different shelters too? They do. In fact, look at this beaver. He built his shelter in the water. And this baby fox, he has a foxhole that was dug into the mound of earth. Other types of animal shelters include nests, caves, or even the ocean. So let's review. What are the basics of a habitat?
So here at the end, she's reviewing the information. This is basically the same as a conclusion. So she's summarizing the information that she's provided.
Remember, there are food, water, space, and shelter. Without any one of these things, animals would not survive.
And here, although it's different to ours, she's written credits. This is an American version. We use the word references. So this is where your reference page would be. So nice and simple, what I need you guys to do is, again, take on the feedback that I've provided you individually on your PowerPoint presentations. I want you to work on those and consider how you're going to speak about your particular topic. Again, all of the information should not be on the PowerPoint. You need to know this information. If you feel like you wish to, you can write a speech and then memorize that speech. However, to make it more authentic, all you need to do is know your information and know that you're going to speak confidently about your endangered animal. As usual, I'm available here on WeChat. If you again want any clarification about your PPT, please do not hesitate to contact me. Thank you, and I will see you in the next class.